The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
The movie you are about to watch reveals many of the world's most closely guarded secrets that are concealed by the various covert societies operating behind the veil of secrecy throughout the earth. Be sure to watch the movie in its entirety in order to fully comprehend the total agenda of the secret societies that control every aspect of your life and your children's lives. The following audio recording of an extremely high-profile secret society meeting was leaked by the mysterious person referred to as Jonathan in the recording. The visual content of this film was added by the producers to correspond to the images and video described in the audio recording. Because the audio recording that this film is based on was sent to the producers anomalously due to legal considerations, this film is categorized as fictional. However, at this point in time, preceding further internet censorship, it can be quickly surmised with very little research that the material in this film is not in the least fictional.
Order. Please come to order. Turn down the lights, please. Take your seats. We're starting the interview. Quiet, please. I'd like to thank you, Jonathan, for meeting with us. Your father was a lifelong member of our brotherhood, as was your grandfather. Actually, your bloodline has endured with our society for centuries, all the way back to the days of the pharaohs.
What are you talking about? My ancestors immigrated from England. But whatever, and it's not like I had a choice to meet with you.
Please, Jonathan, call me Magog, and I think that it's unfortunate that you feel that you were forced to meet with us.
Magog? What kind of name is that?
Just a fun little nickname I acquired after years of dedication to my beloved society.
Weird nickname, but everything in this place is weird.
Do you have any questions about our society?
A few. But really, the only reason why I'm here is that Timothy, our family lawyer, said that there's some kind of stipulations in my dad's will. Apparently, in order for me to inherit my family's estate, I have to attend some sort of initiation ceremony. And if I don't, my inheritance is donated to your society.
More like an oath of allegiance. And as far as your father's will, those were his wishes.
Allegiance? With who? You and your order?
More than that, an oath of allegiance to the New World Order.
You mean to say that your society is the creator of this New World Order we hear about?
That's our mission, to structure a marvelous New World Order. One that utilizes the United Nations with its credible peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of our past brothers when they founded it.
Members of your society founded the United Nations?
We created the UN so that one day it would be our vehicle to rule the world with our one world government. The United Nations is just another brick in the wall. Our tentacles run deep into every government, religion, corporation, international body in the earth. Take a look at the illustration on the monitor. Do you see the third level of the pyramid, Jonathan?
The level with the Committee of 300 listed?
This level represents your family's position in the world, and if I may say so, a very lofty position. Do you see the very bottom level of the pyramid, 5 levels down?
The level entitled Debt Slaves?
If you don't join our society, Jonathan, this will be your new position in life, working alongside the sheeple.
Sheeple? What do you mean? I have a master's degree from MIT, graduated with honors, top of my class. I can get a job anywhere.
You'll still just be a paid slave at Rome, taxed and compounded interested to death. Besides, Jonathan, did you really think that your father's position and prestige had nothing to do with your success at MIT, top of your class, really, son?
Are you saying my dad pulled strings for me?
Come now, Jonathan, I'm sorry this is news to you. After all, it's not what knowledge you possess, it's who you know. We can build you up, or we can tear you down. We have complete power over the whole earth. We can grant your every wish, or we can make your life a living hell. We are omnipotent, and soon to be omnipresent.
Is that a threat?
Of course not, Jonathan. You're amongst friends. I'm merely trying to point out that there are many perks with becoming a member of our order, and a very unfortunate future if you don't. As a matter of fact, young man, you were chosen to be a member, as we've all been chosen.
By who?
Do you see the eye at the top level of the pyramid?
God chose me? The grand architect of the universe?
Yes, that's what our lower initiates are taught, but it actually represents the Eye of Horus, also known as the Eye of Lucifer. He has very special plans for you.
Lucifer? The one that Jesus Christ called a murderer and a liar has special plans for me?
Jonathan, I have to ask you to refrain from uttering that name again in our temple. You see, young man, you have it all wrong. Lucifer is the glorious one. He wants to enlighten you to the fact that we can all become gods, but Adonai, the God of the Jews, doesn't want you to be free. He wants everyone to worship him and his son, and doesn't want mankind to know our master, Lucifer the light-bearer. Our master's only commandment is fair. Do what you want, is the whole of his law. Jonathan, take a look at the quote on the monitor from one of our esteemed brothers, Albert Pike. If Lucifer were not God, would Adonai, whose deeds prove his cruelty, the defiant hatred of man, barbarism and repulsion for science, would Adonai and his priests calumniate him? Yes, Lucifer is God, and unfortunately Adonai is also God. For the eternal law is that there is no light without shade, no beauty without ugliness, no white without black, for the Absolute can only exist as two gods, darkness being necessary to the statue, and the brake to the locomotive. Thus, the doctrine of Satanism is a heresy, and the true and pure philosophical religion is the belief in Lucifer, the equal of Adonai. And Lucifer, God of glorious enlightenment, is struggling for the evolution of humanity to godhood against Adonai, the God of enslavement and ignorance.
So what you believe is that there's two gods, Adonai and Lucifer is good and Adonai is actually bad?
Yes, in fact, Adonai and his son are basically one and the same, father and son both working against our master. Please understand, Jonathan, the world has misunderstood Lucifer, or as the Christians like to call him, the devil. As he rescued mankind from the prison of Eden and opened their eyes to the fact that they don't have to obey Adonai and his stifling commandments. Man can become gods by performing certain acts. But Adonai doesn't want mankind to eat from the tree of knowledge of good, Adonai and also evil, Lucifer. Adonai wants mankind to only know him, and deny the existence and wisdom of our great master.
But didn't Adonai create the earth, Lucifer, and mankind? How can he be an unjust God if he's the creator of everything?
Adonai is not the only creator, and besides, Jonathan, just because a shepherd has a flock of sheep and breeds offspring from the flock, does that immediately infer that the shepherd is a just master? Or is it possible that he could be a cruel master who tries to make all his sheep behave like sheep when in fact they are all a part wolf? Young man, we believe that there is a balance in the universe. We call it duality. We believe that you need evil to balance the good, good and evil working together in perfect harmony. God and Lucifer are complete equals. They balance each other out. There is no sin or commandments in our religion. That's for the meek and weak to think about.
What about when the Son of Man returns? Isn't he going to throw all your asses into a lake of fire and brimstone?
Hell, fire and brimstone is what has been taught to the sheeple of this world. You must understand, Jonathan, the great conflict, as the Christians call it, is going to end peacefully. When their so-called Savior returns, he will have to admit complete and utter defeat, as the vast majority of mankind has chosen to worship our master Lucifer either wittingly or unwittingly. Most sheeple don't realize that Lucifer, the god of light and enlightenment, the light bearer, has cleverly represented himself throughout history as the sun god. Most so-called religious people worship him on his day, Sunday. Most of Adonai's so-called God's people listen to music produced by Lucifer, watch television programmed by him, and they worship movie idols created by him. God's people commit adultery and perform carnal sex acts. They worship our master in masses when they consume his pornography. Everything committed by God's people on the plane of earth is a form of worship and tribute to our master, Lucifer.
Surely there are Christians that haven't been deceived by Satan and won't join the New World Order.
After the financial crash of the American dollar during Trump's second term as president, with him losing his currency battle with the Chinese, everyone will either accept the mark of the New World Order, or they will be harvested for their body parts, and that will finally be the end of Christianity in the earth.
You mean the mark of the beast?
When Adonai and his pathetic son realize that their bloodlines and their disciples have either been exterminated from the earth, or they've accepted Lucifer's mark, they'll have to admit defeat, and Lucifer will rightfully rule the whole earth. You see, Jonathan, earth is a proving ground in which your allegiance is proven under real-life circumstances, and under real-life temptations, guided by your free will. And with mankind's free will guided by his carnal heart, he undoubtedly most often chooses carnal sin. After all, everybody loves sex, and carnal sex is what our religion is based on.
Your religion is sexual in nature?
You better believe it. We're all about sex. Anything goes. That's why Adonai and his son don't have a chance at winning. We have sex on our side. They worship by praying, and we worship by having sex. What would you rather do? And in the end times, Adonai will abandon the earth in order for Lucifer to rightfully rule over his multitude of disciples. Lucifer will then resurrect the rest of his followers lost to time with their preserved DNA, and we'll all live in a glorious new world as one, for an eternity.
That's starting to make sense. Because as soon as Adam and Eve took on the knowledge of Satan, they wanted to wear fig leaves. Because now all they could think about is perverse thoughts, looking at each other's naked bodies. And I guess that ties into the goat of Mendes being the god of lust. Well, that's quite a story. And now that story time's over, maybe you can tell me what's required of me to become initiated into your society and claim my rightful inheritance. After all, that's all I'm really interested in. I could do a lot of good with that money.
Rightful. We made your father rich. We made him a bloody billionaire. Throughout time, our bloodlines have always ruled the earth. Take a look at the picture of Queen Elizabeth sitting on her throne with our master's pyramid and sun symbol on the back of her throne.
Yeah, I see it.
We have remained on top because we've known how to obtain real earthly powers from our God. Now take a look at the picture of our God represented as Moloch. Moloch is our master depicted in Roman times. He rewards us splendidly for our loyalty, and there's no better way to demonstrate our loyalty to our master than to give up one of the things we cherish the most, one of our children.
You want me to sacrifice my children?
Just one, your firstborn male.
Just one child. My son. Are you people insane?
We are not asking you to do anything that we all haven't done ourselves.
You mean to say that my dad sacrificed a child to Satan?
Did you not have an older brother that died as an infant?
That was an accident.
We all do what is required of us by our master. He rewards us dearly with earthly treasures and everlasting life.
I can't believe my dad could have done anything like that. He was a cold man, but he wasn't heartless.
What if you could ask him for yourself?
What are you talking about? My dad's dead.
Men don't die. That's exactly what Lucifer said unto Adam. You will not surely die. Man is reincarnated after death. Our souls never expire. Even if you spilled your son's precious life force blood and consumed it, his soul would still live on.
Now you want me to sacrifice my son and drink his blood?
There's no better earthly sensation than to consume the energized life force blood of an innocent child.
You people are sick. How could you even think of doing something like that? What's the matter with you people? Are you even human?
Jonathan, do you see the image on the monitor of the Beatles album cover yesterday and today? Have you ever seen it before, son?
Yes, I have. And I've always wondered why they put out a weird cover like that.
And now you know the rest of the story. The Beatles, the most famous band in the world, is demonstrating their allegiance to our master by letting the world know that they've performed child sacrifices in order to get the earthly rewards. Don't you not want your earthly rewards, Jonathan? It's time to pay up, son.
How bad could it be to live in the debt slave level with the sheeple?
In a few years it'll become very uncomfortable to live on the surface of the earth.
How so?
Have you ever heard of chemtrails, Jonathan?
No. What are those?
Take a look at the monitor, see the different types of airplane exhaust trails.
Oh, you mean condensation trails left behind airplanes?
No, contrails will evaporate. Chemtrails are long white aerosol trails containing chemicals sprayed behind jets that spread across the sky. Eventually they turn the sky a hazy white color. You can always identify a chemical-ridden sky by the presence of a large white refraction ring around the sun.
Now that you mention it, I have noticed. You don't really see that many blue sky days anymore. But why are you spraying the skies? And what are you spraying them with?
Chemtrails have many useful benefits. We use them to spray viruses across the skies that spread disease, so we can sell our pharmaceuticals to the sheeple. We use chemtrails made of aluminum, barium and strontium to deflect the sun's rays away from the sheeple's solar panels, so that we can sell more of our oil to them. We also use chemtrails to hold the heat that's cast down from the sun below the chemtrails, creating a greenhouse effect, drying out the Earth's atmosphere, creating forest fires that deplete Earth's oxygen levels, and creating massive changes to our climate.
But I thought our use of fossil fuels created climate change.
That's what we've brainwashed the sheeple to believe with our media. We've programmed the sheeple to believe that they're destroying the planet with their mass consumption way of life. But in fact, we're creating the problem with our use of chemtrails, and then we blame it on the sheeple for being forced to use our oil and plastics to pollute. That way we can tax them with our carbon tax and fuel tax, and use the money to pay for more chemtrails. We control everything, the Earth's temperature, weather, rainfall. Soon we'll even be able to control the sunlight. Do you see the image of the artificial sun on the monitor, Jonathan? It blocks out the actual sun and absorbs its energy and converts it to a special light that can also transmit Wi-Fi. It's called Li-Fi. It's intelligent light that contains data.
What the hell? A simulated sun that transmits Wi-Fi and controls our sunlight? What's your end game with all this technology?
Jonathan, have you ever heard the name Sam Walton?
Is that his picture on the monitor?
Yes.
Judging by the Walmart hat he's wearing, he's the founder of Walmart?
That's correct. But do you know what he did before founding Walmart?
Not a clue.
Walton served for more than 20 years in the U.S. Army Intelligence Corps, supervising security at aircraft manufacturing plants and prisoner-of-war camps. In this position he served at Fort Douglas in Salt Lake City, Utah. He eventually reached the rank of captain.
Sam Walton, founder of Walmart, worked for the Army Intelligence Corps.
That's right, son. Army intelligence trained through and through, and after the war, he was given the task to build the largest network of concentration camps the world has ever seen.
Walmart stores are concentration camps. What in the hell are you talking about?
See the map on the monitor, Jonathan. Walmart is the biggest retail chain in the world, with over 10,000 big box locations in almost every country, with underground installations and underground tunnels connecting them. When the crash of the world's currencies occurs, there'll be massive food shortages, and people will be instructed to get their food and water from their local Walmart store. As Walmart will be the only organization with the food distribution infrastructure in place to handle the worldwide crises for food, medicine, and drinking water. Everybody will be forced to go to Walmart to buy their basic needs to survive.
You mean to say that the US government created Walmart to control the world's food supply?
We created the American government, and we created Walmart. Take a look at their logo. It's actually one of our symbols.
That's screwed up. The Walmart logo is actually a hexagram. But what's the big deal? I'll have to go to Walmart to get my supplies after the money crash. Big deal.
You don't get it, son, when you show up at a Walmart supercenter after Trump's triumphant money crash. You'll be starving and destitute, crawling in the front door of your local Walmart store with your family. There'll be no turning back. You'll either have to join the New World Order by your own free will and swear allegiance to our master and receive his mark, or you will be put into a concentration camp. It will be that simple. You'll either join with us, or we'll work you till we harvest your body for your organs. You and your family, and all the other unwilling Christians, will eventually be put to death by our guillotine. That's right. France's national razor, the best mechanical means of executing a human for the purpose of reusing their body parts. It's the perfect instrument for putting an end to Christianity and reaping thy harvest. We've already begun implementing the guillotine as a preferred method of prisoner executions in the United States.
I can't believe what you're telling me. Your goal is to exterminate all Christians and microchip the rest of mankind.
Have you ever heard of Jade Helm 15, Jonathan?
Wasn't that a controversial military operation that was mentioned quite often in media?
Yes. Now take a closer look at the Jade Helm 15 military emblem.
It looks like a wooden shoe. Why would the military put a slightly visible wooden shoe over their emblem?
Because that's what the Jews and Christians were forced to wear in the concentration camps in Germany, wooden shoes to torture their feet when they walked. Show young Jonathan the play on words with the Walmart name.
This is a lot to get my head around.
I know, my boy, the New World Order. It was a lot for me to digest when I was first briefed on what the future has in store for mankind. Doesn't it sound marvelous?
No, it sounds horrible. You people are mad.
Maybe your father can talk some sense into you. But would you please be so kind to channel Jonathan's father for us?
It would be my pleasure. Brother William, please bless us with your presence. Come forth and converse with your son, whom we are meeting with.
Jonathan, my son, it's good to see you.
Your voice. It sounds just like you. Is that really you, Dad?
Of course it's me, son. Your ears do not deceive you.
Dad, why are you trying to force me to join your society? Why in God's name would you want me to sacrifice William?
You, like me, must do what is needed of us to preserve our family's status in the world. You must serve our master as I did.
Dad, did you really sacrifice Andrew to Satan?
Willie's soul will not perish with his flesh and blood. Your son, my grandson, will be reincarnated and live again, just as your older brother Andrew was reincarnated.
How can you be so sure, Dad?
Don't be deceived by your dorm mate Justin. Willie's soul will survive, as did Andy's, and as did mine. You'll just be sacrificing your son's flesh and blood, nothing more. I promise you, son.
Justin? You don't know anything about Justin. I never told you he's a Christian. I never told you anything about him. About my Bible studies with him, or talking with his dad, who, like Justin, is a Seventh-day Adventist, who worships our Father on Saturdays. Nothing. How do you know, Dad? Tell me.
Well, don't you remember talking to me about him? You told me everything.
You're a liar. That never happened. You're not my dad. Just like Jesus said in the Bible. You're a demon spirit trying to deceive me.
I'm sure you must have mentioned Justin to your father.
No, I'm sure of it. He would have reprimanded me for reading the Bible.
That will be all both.
Jonathan, my son, do as I say.
Shut up, you frickin' demon. You tried to deceive me. That wasn't my dad.
Calm down, son.
Don't tell me to calm down. You people are holding my billions of dollars in inheritance hostage, and you're asking me to sacrifice my only son, and if that wasn't enough, you try to deceive me by performing some cheap trick, getting this bozo to impersonate my dad. What next? Satan himself is going to appear?
Cheap trick. Your father said that you'd be an obnoxious little prick to deal with. Okay, Jonathan, you asked, and so shall you receive. I invoke thee, the terrible, wicked and invisible God, who dwellest in the void place of the spirit realm. Thou spiritual son, Satan, thou art thou last. Cry aloud, whirl the wheel, O my father, O Satan, O son. Saturn, thou, the Saviour, give me thy secret. Give me Sat, thou Pharis, thou son. O Satan, thou self-caused, self-determined, exalted, most high.
What was that sound? Did I hear a baby crying? Oh my God! What's that coming through the ceiling? It's so bright I can't see. I'm blind. I can't see anything.
Don't look directly upon him.
My God! How's it possible to fly through the ceiling and then transform into an angel of light? Into human form? Is this what Satan really looks like?
Jonathan, you disappoint me. Do you not realize it's better to rule with me in the earth than it is to serve him in heaven? I tried to serve him, but it was excruciatingly painful. How much righteousness, grace, and holiness can one endure?
You're Satan? But you're so damn beautiful. You're the most splendid thing I've ever seen. You're nothing like I expected. But how can you fly through solid objects? What are you, an angel of light? What kind of being are you?
You may call me Lucifer, ruler of the kingdom of the air, and I'm what's known as an angelic being. I can travel through solid objects and dimensions, and manifest myself into any physical form I choose.
With all due respect, why are you called the ruler of the kingdom of the air? Or as I've read it, the prince of the power of the air, but I'm sure the difference is lost in translation.
You can curse at me for that. I'm called the ruler of the kingdom of the air because I control the air. And whomever controls the air in this world controls everything. I control television, radio, telecommunications, air traffic, air and space forces, satellites.
Do you plan to use your power of the air to enslave mankind?
I want to help mankind, like I have demonstrated countless times in the past.
How can I believe anything you say when you're known in the Bible as the father of all lies?
A propaganda. I'm called the father of all lies by your domineering God, who judges all of your actions. How can one tell the truth to thy God when they know thy Father will condemn them? Like man, we angels have our faults. We can and have sinned. Where's our forgiveness? We are not perfect like thy Father and his Son. We are not without sin. Where's our amnesty? Wouldn't you also lie if you knew that you're going to be condemned for an eternity? Go ahead, ask away. How you doubt me, Jonathan, before you really know me. Well, ask me any question, and I swear to give you an honest answer.
You swear to tell the truth to who? But I'll bite. Who was that impersonating my dad?
That was your father, was it not?
If that was really my dad, how did he know about my roommate Justin? I've never told anyone that he was a Christian.
I see everything. I've even monitoring you, as I do with all my children. I'm the one who informed your father about the deceitful lies being told to you by your so-called friend Justin.
I'm not a child of yours, Satan. And why do you care whether or not I join your society and worship you? What's another servant?
Firstly, you are a child of mine. When your ancestors, Adam and Eve, were imprisoned in the Garden of Eden, they chose to follow me, and as I've demonstrated that I'm really the only one who cares about mankind. After all, I'm the one who freed Adam and Eve from their mental shackles by showing them how to open their third eyes. I've repeatedly demonstrated throughout history that I truly do care about all of my children. Please remember that it wasn't I who flooded the earth in an attempt to kill off my bloodline and yours. Secondly, you are not just another servant. You're special. I consider you another god, just like me. We can be allies, working together on a common goal to conquer what's rightfully mine, and help me to establish my kingdom in the earth. Please understand, Jonathan, your skills are invaluable to me. I've chosen you to be the one to design my network for my biomark microchip system. Not only will it lay my claim to ownership of those who agree to accept it, but it will actually enhance your DNA. Join me, son. Help me to perfect mankind. Help me make your species the very best that it can be by merging mankind with machine.
Join you? You mean worship you? You want me to mock my Creator and His Son by sacrificing my son to you that He blessed me with?
Trust me, your son will not surely die. His soul will live on for an eternity.
Why is it so important to you that I sacrifice my son to you?
It's one of the best ways for you to prove your loyalty to me. It's something that I require from all my male disciples.
What if I didn't have a son?
Then I'd ask you to produce me a son from your wife or any other female, as long as he's your son.
In the Bible it says that God asked Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac. But God stopped him at the last second, demonstrating that He really does love His children.
Your God is jealous of the fact that my disciples are willing to sacrifice their children to me, while His disciples don't even give Him a thought throughout the day. They watch my TV and listen to my music and never read His book.
If you really are Satan, and not a demon or a fallen angel trying to deceive me, then tell me who the Antichrist and the false prophet are, and how Trump fits into the end times.
Inquisitive like your father, I like that. A sign of intelligence. But I can't tell you everything.
Come on, what harm could there be in telling a lowly person like myself? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, what could it hurt?
I'll give you a hint. The Antichrist that's referred to in the Bible is my most devoted disciple. He was my son who was also a renegade king. He was so devoted to me that he banished all other gods in his kingdom, and only worshipped me. The one and only true God, hating the sun god. With my life-giving ray ways I bring fertility and life to Mother Earth.
It sounds like you're talking about Pharaoh Akhenaten. But he's been dead for centuries.
Your father has taught you well.
I picked up a few things along the way.
I've underestimated you, Jonathan. I knew you were clever with writing computer code, but I didn't appreciate your depth in the subject of history.
So if Akhenaten is your son, and he's your Antichrist, how can he be relevant in these end times?
My angels and I came in unto the daughters of men and took them for wives. And they bore offspring that were giants, and I used those giants to build my pyramids to protect my bloodlines from the Overlord above, against his floods, his lightning, his evil vengeance. Throughout history I've built thousands of pyramids around the world, in every country and on every continent, all preserving the precious DNA of my offspring and the offspring of my fellow fallen angels.
So you've recreated your Antichrist from the DNA of Akhenaten. But who's he today?
Barack Obama, of course. Barack Obama, dead Pharaoh reborn 666. Barack Obama, dead Pharaoh reborn 666.
President Barack Hussein Obama is your Antichrist. I find that hard to believe. That sounds completely crazy. Do you have any proof that he's the Antichrist?
Does he not look like my dead Pharaoh?
It kinda looks like him, but it's hard to compare him to a picture of a statue. Do you have more proof?
Of course, that's easy. He thanked me repeatedly on the night of his inauguration, paying homage to me, as do all of my disciples.
I watched every minute of his speech. I never heard him thank you for anything.
Have you ever heard Obama say, "Yes, we can"?
Of course. That was his campaign slogan.
He thanked me countless times on TV for the whole world to hear. You just have to play it backwards, as your conscious mind cannot comprehend what your subconscious mind can. Watch this video of my son's speech, and you can hear it for yourself.
Yes, we can. 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 You say. As 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 you say.
That's amazing. It actually sounds like he's thanking you when his speech is played backwards.
In defiance of the Overlord above, I've instructed my disciples to do and say everything backwards. That's why I do everything completely opposite of your heavenly dictator. He has a holy Bible, and I have an unholy Bible. He has a holy son, and I also have an unholy son. He has a holy church, and I too have an unholy church.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't hear it for myself. Even the crowd chants "Thank you, Satan" when you play his speech backwards. Now it's all starting to make sense. I remember seeing a video posted on the internet. I think it was called Obama Uses Snapchat or something like that, where Obama turns into a demon, right on camera and back again. I know it was a spoof, but it was pretty freaky.
I thought it was humorous.
You should have left your phone. Huh. He's got Snapchat. Obamacare is great. and it's really working. Sign up now.
Breaking news.
Michelle Obama in hot water after posting this video earlier today.
Obamacare is great, and it's really working. Sign up now.
No?
No.
Did you get a lot of views?
Honey, enough. Why don't you just talk to somebody who's been through this? I gotta go to Soul Cycle.
She's right. I know who I need to talk to. Hey, it's Barack.
That's incredible. Why would the Obamas post something like that? I couldn't believe it the first time I heard it. It sounds crazy, but what if Barack Obama is a clone of Akhenaten? It kind of makes sense. Akhenaten really turned Egypt on its head when he went renegade and outlawed all the other gods but you, Aten, the sun god.
Yes, Jonathan. My son was a renegade pharaoh, and soon he'll sit as the head of the United Nations, the king of all nations, the king of the new one-world government. And after martial law is imposed throughout the world following the worldwide economic crash led by my disciple, Donald Trump.
President Trump is a member of your society, but I thought Trump ran as an independent. He campaigned with his own money. He's supposed to be the candidate that wasn't part of the political establishment, a rogue president who wanted to drain the swamp.
Hillary, Trump, Bush, Bernie, they all work for me. Don't you get it? Good cop, bad cop, judge, jury, and executioner. They're all my disciples. After Bush Sr., then Clinton, and then another double shot of Bush, and then a double term of Obama. I had to create a new great white hope into the equation. Because I knew that the sheeple were catching on that it didn't matter who they voted for. Nothing would ever change. I had Obama put in place the executive orders that will allow Trump to call for martial law and the imprisonment and execution of all the Christians.
But Trump's a Christian. He campaigned for Christian support. That's how he won the election. How can he be the one to imprison and exterminate all the Christians that elected him into office?
He followed the same orders that I gave Hitler to bring him to power, deceiving the Christian voters. Once in power, he will destroy them all.
Why such hatred for the Christians? Why not coexist with them?
As long as Adonai and his son exist in the minds of those that dwell in the earth, they'll always have influence on this plane and prevent me from establishing my kingdom in the earth. But when I finally exterminate the last Christian, I will finally rid the earth of their cruel, barbaric, inhumane, and backward ways that prevented mankind from reaching his full scientific potential.
And what's that? To merge with machines and live as cyborgs forever?
Imagine Jonathan downloading information directly to your brain wirelessly. All the information in the world would be instantly accessible by your brain. Any language, any book, any song, anything. Live forever without disease. Enjoy excellent health indefinitely with infinite wisdom.
Like a god.
Exactly, a god. An upgrade to Adonai's original design. Humanity 2.0. Everything and everybody linked in a perfect synergy.
Your disciple, Albert Pike, claims that God is repulsed by science. Is science the knowledge of evil?
Yes. Science is my religion. Adonai knows that science holds the keys to unlocking the limitations he put on mankind. I'm allowing mankind to become gods just like Adonai and myself, knowing the secrets of the universe, expanding DNA, splitting atoms, freeing mankind from his barbaric control. Adonai wants to maintain power at any cost, even if it means destroying the world by floods or by other means. He's a ruthless and jealous God.
Science is your religion? I didn't know that science could be a religion.
Science is what I use to fool the sheeple with. If you can't blind them with brilliance, then baffle them with bullshit. I've used science to disprove everything in the Bible, from heliocentrism and evolution to extraterrestrials. It's all my religion creating doubt in the minds of Adonai's disciples, chipping away at their faith in him, making his disciples question his book, making it seem far-fetched and foolish. Scientism is the belief in my science over the written word of his Bible, and a scientian is a disciple of my science, one who is blinded by science.
What about aliens? Do they use technology to live forever? What's so funny? Aliens exist, don't they? Or is it something you want mankind to believe in?
Are you sure you want to know the answer to that question? Upon hearing the answer, the pillars of your reality will be shaken.
Yes, I'm sure. It's something that has puzzled me my entire life, a subject that I've spent quite a bit of time researching.
Yes, there's aliens, and they want to help mankind evolve into a scientifically advanced and peaceful existence. They too are gods like Adonai and myself, and they too have also tried to help mankind. But like me, they've also been hindered by Adonai. And in the not too distant future, mankind will be contacted by their alien gods, and their gods will communicate knowledge and wisdom through my earthly prophet on how to save Mother Earth and to live peacefully together without war.
Your prophet? You mean your false prophet? Who's he? What's his identity in the world?
My Pope, Pope Francis of Court.
Pope Francis, the head of the Catholic Church, is your prophet? How can this be? He's got 1 billion Christians worshipping him.
The Catholic Church is my counterfeit Christian religion for the sheeple. They are such fools. My church is full of my idols, from my whore of Babylon masquerading as Mary, to me portraying myself as Christ. It is clearly written in his Bible that men are forbidden to wear their hair long, yet they worship an image of me as the Christ, with long hair. Fools, I tell you, complete and utter fools, they deserve what's coming to them. It says in his book not to call anyone else father but him, yet that's what I have them calling my priests. It is written in his book not to have homosexual relations, but they let my priests sodomize their children and turn them into homosexuals. Fools, I tell you.
Why is that? Why do you want your church to promote homosexuality?
Duality. Jonathan, have you not seen my Baphomet idol?
No, I don't think so. Oh, that ugly thing. I just didn't know what it was called. Now that I've seen a picture of it, I recognize it.
Do you notice that the statue has both a phallus and breasts, male and female sexual characteristics in one body?
Yes, very weird. Why is that?
That's because my fallen angels and I are androgynous, both male and female, and that's why my children all share my traits. And this is why I encourage all my children to be queer like us. Much to the dismay of Adonai, he wants everyone to pretend they're something they're not, and fight my carnal influence. Whereas I say, do what you willed. Give in to my temptations, explore any thought that I might give you, moral or perverse, be totally free to be as I want you to be.
So that fateful day that Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil is the day we had the potential to all become homosexuals.
And so much more.
So this worldwide gay agenda is your doing.
Are you surprised?
Nothing is surprising me anymore. I feel shell-shocked.
Come explore. Let me show you how to acquire thy knowledge of evil.
What is the tree of knowledge of good and evil? Is it an actual tree?
Have you not heard of the tree of Chakras, or Kundalini?
I've heard of chakra.
The tree of life which is quelled by the Kundalini serpent wisdom is your spinal column with 33 vertebrae, as in the 33 degrees of Freemasonry. There are also 33 spinal nerves. This is where yin and yang merge harmoniously. This is also called the middle way. Christ is a metaphor for Kundalini. Your Christ was crucified in Calvary. Calvary in its original Hebrew form means place of the skull. The rebirth is when your cerebral spinal fluid climbs up your 33 vertebrae, up Jacob's ladder, and meets your 12 cranial nerves, the 12 disciples, and it connects you with your higher self, your Christ, and you become a god. The biblical snake is usually depicted as being wrapped around the tree of knowledge. Eating from it implies incarnation into duality. Light and dark experiences equals obtaining knowledge. The serpent in the Bible also symbolizes etheric energy. In the Old Testament, Moses fixed a bronze serpent to a cross, and anyone who gazed upon thy serpent would be healed. I also can heal humanity. Today a lot of my children are at the point where they can finally have a chance to regain their former identities and powers, this time with all the additional knowledge and strength they've gained from being human for so long. What they've gained most is wisdom and discernment, the ability to think and understand the duality principle knowledge of good and evil. Something they were not able to do prior to entering duality, because they were isolated and naive like innocent and overprotected children. Take a look at the image on the screen, Jonathan. In ancient Egypt, the pineal gland was traditionally considered to be the seat of the soul. The Egyptians knew that this was where DMT, the spirit molecule, was released, and that it triggered the final projection into the astral plane, where their experience is rooted from. The Egyptians placed the snake on the forehead to symbolize that they had awakened their own Kundalini energy. Accomplishing this had changed their entire being down to DNA and cellular levels. Once this was done, they no longer considered themselves humans. They were now gods like me.
Incredible.
You too can eat from my tree of knowledge by opening up your tree of chakras in your body. You begin by performing ancient body poses, while meditating and making primal sounds. Performing them simultaneously activates your chakras, starting at your lower spine, and then climbing upwards until you open up all of your chakras, including your crown chakra, opening your third eye in the middle of the forehead, my mark of the beast. When opened, your third eye allows my thoughts to flow freely through you, which gives you my knowledge of good and evil. All of my true disciples have their third eye opened, and eventually everyone on earth will have it opened.
So you're behind the Eastern mystical teachings of yoga, Tai Chi, and Qigong that has exploded in the West.
But of course,
I can't believe how mankind has unwittingly worshipped you. It's mind-blowing.
Any other questions? My time is precious.
Yes, just a couple. In the end days, the Bible says that the Antichrist will receive a fatal wound, yet he'll be healed. How will he be healed?
I have 7 treasured Akhenaten clones, my precious offspring. 5 of my children have my baphomet goat horns, and 2 do not. One of the 2 offsprings without my horns, I too will sacrifice for all of my disciples to see. I will assassinate my own son in public view for the whole world to see. Then I will resurrect my Christ by replacing him with my other son that doesn't have my horns, and all the world will marvel after him.
Just like it says in the book of Revelation in the Bible. I saw one of his heads as if it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? So that means you and your son will rule the earth together?
With the assistance of my prophet.
You mean your false prophet, the Black Pope, the one who has the 2-horned hat, his fish hat, and he speaks blasphemies like a dragon. Just like it says in the Bible. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them that dwell thereon to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed.
You are well versed on the Bible, a rarity in today's world. You are starting to arouse my suspicions, Jonathan, with your litany of questions.
How often does one have a chance to converse with such a renowned individual as yourself? The knowledge you possess is hard for me to fathom. I want to ask you a million questions. I can't be the only one seeking knowledge from you.
Some seek but do not find, and some find what they do not seek. Be careful of what you ask, Jonathan, as there may be a point of no return, as I feel you may be gleaning too much from your interview.
I understand. Please, just a few more questions. I'm fascinated by your answers in infinite wisdom.
My time is short, and so is my patience.
It also says in the Bible that the false prophet, your Pope, will force everyone to worship the Antichrist. How will he do this?
When my president, Donald Trump, wages war against Iran, all the surrounding Muslim countries will attack and destroy the largest concentration camp that I have ever created, Israel.
That's why you created Israel.
Yes, and when I finish destroying what remains of Adonai's bloodline in the earth, I'll seek to destroy all of the remaining Jews and Christians throughout the world. At which time there will be an alien invasion of the earth, and my alien brothers will contact mankind with a proposal that will contain wisdom that would allow mankind to stop destroying the earth and themselves. Thy alien's brothers will use my Pope as Earth's ambassador, conveying with mankind only through him, the Earth's most popular religious leader, my black Jesuit general disguised as the White Pope. My aliens will deliver a message to my him, and it will be entitled The Alien Ultimatum. Read it for him, Magog.
Many millenniums ago, mankind was created by enhancing the DNA of prehistoric man, creating modern man. But much to the dismay of your alien fathers, mankind as a species has failed to evolve in a satisfactory manner. Man still clings on to his primal tendencies, making him prone to war, violence, greed and environmental destruction. We are mankind's actual creators and have nurtured you over time and have monitored your development. But we can't sit back and watch any longer. We feel we must intervene at this point in time, as we fear you are headed towards total destruction of the Earth and mankind. Either mankind destroys all their weapons and surrenders to their creators, and let them govern mankind, or they'll go to war with us.
I can't see mankind laying down their weapons without a fight.
You're right, Jonathan. Mankind will try to put up a fight. They'll unite their armies under the United Nations and try to fight the alien threat.
Of course, that's how you'll unite the world into a one-world government, with your son running the world, just like President Reagan predicted in his alien speech when he said that all our petty differences would disappear if we faced an alien presence.
One of my all-time favorite actors. What a performance. Run the speech for our guest Magog.
Yes, worshipful master.
We need some outside universal threat. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of it?
That's uncanny. So you've been programming mankind for alien contact for years. But how will Pope Francis force mankind to worship your son the Antichrist and bid them to make an image of him and accept his mark?
My alien brothers will enable my Pope to have access to all of their technological powers, permitting my Pope to perform great wonders. He'll even be able to make fire come down from heaven in the sight of men, and he'll force mankind to worship my Pharaoh, and by doing so they'll be paying homage to me.
Just like it says in the Bible. He'll have power over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. Well, I don't believe everything you're saying. I think you're weaving lies amongst a tiny thread of truth.
How so, young man?
For instance, I don't think President Trump is part of your society. What proof do you have that he is?
Magog, show the young man a picture of the Temple of Baal, with its 7 towers that my devoted disciple Donald Trump, the master mason, has built for me in the middle of New York City, right under everybody's noses. Do you see the pyramid of trees built into the building that Donald built for me? I designed it myself. Count the number of trees in each line.
Well, there's 6 across the top of the pyramid, and 6 down the left side, and 6 down the right. 666.
Precisely. And every time my Donald's on television, I've commanded him to worship me by making a pyramid shape, or a 666 sign with his hands. All of my disciples do it, or at least the ones that I wish to reveal to the world.
I've seen him do that on TV. But why the pyramid?
My 2 pyramids, one that points up and the other that points down, both have 360-degree angles, and they are both symbols of my religion. The pyramid pointing up is a symbol of me, the sun god, with the sun rising at the first point of the pyramid. Then the second point represents high noon, and the sun setting is the last point of the pyramid. The pyramid pointing up also represents a separate dual meaning. It exemplifies the erect male phallus and also, as above. The pyramid pointing down also has a dual meaning. It represents the female reproductive organs, and also, so below. And together they make a hexagram, my symbol of my sexual and scientific religion.
But I thought the hexagram represented Israel, and was the Star of David.
It's my symbol that I assign to my Jews, because they're my people, as they've worshipped me as Moloch since the time of Canaanites. And that's what infuriates Adonai the most, his bloodline worshipping me as the golden calf since the exodus of my people from Egypt.
What is the meaning of as above, so below?
Adonai did defeat me, and he did cast me and my angels down from heaven into the earth. But I vow to return and defeat Adonai and his angels, and rise above him. I will establish my kingdom in heaven as I have done in the earth. As above, so below.
But isn't that what Adonai claims that he'll do? Establish his kingdom on earth as it is in heaven?
And so the battle rages on. The great conflict, as they say. But I've put 18 million cracks in the firmament, and with my developments at CERN, I will soon be able to penetrate through the glass ceiling and break on through to the other side.
Wait a minute. Isn't that what Hillary said when she lost the Democratic primary? She said something about the glass ceiling having 18 million cracks in it. You mean to say that she was referring to the firmament in her iconic speech?
I don't hide my agenda. I leave plenty of clues in plain sight. No one's going to be accusing me of deception after the fact. They'll all be saying, I should have saw it coming. There was clues left everywhere, by everyone. Movie stars, songs, television shows, everywhere.
So, if there really is a firmament, like it says in the Bible, and as you and your disciples keep saying, in the earth, then that means we really are in the earth. And the earth is fixed solidly on the foundations of the world. And it means we don't revolve around the sun. The sun revolves around us. Of course, Nicholas Copernicus worked with the Vatican to put forth his heliocentric theory that we revolve around you, the sun god, instead of the other way around. It's just like you've said. You've used science to deceive the whole world.
I do what I can to win over the minds of my children. Adonai does the same.
That means the earth is actually flat, isn't it? You've deceived mankind about that too, haven't you?
I can't have my children believing everything in that horrendous book.
So if there's a firmament, and you haven't broke through it, then how can there be aliens? Is that another one of your lies? I suspect that your agenda is to deceive everybody into believing that aliens exist. That way mankind will ask the question, who's really my creator, aliens or God? All this deception so that mankind doesn't believe in his creator? People don't give you enough credit. You're quite brilliant. You certainly had me baffled and confused about the existence of aliens.
Thank you. I've been creating my alien deception for centuries. And it's not the first time I've been accused of being brilliant. As a matter of fact, I believe I've eclipsed my creator's intelligence long ago.
Therein, I guess, lies the real problem. So if your invading alien spaceships don't come from another galaxy far, far away, then they must come from somewhere else, here in the Earth, somewhere beneath the firmament. Where could you build an alien space force and conceal it in an overcrowded world? The only place I can think of is Antarctica.
Marvelous young man. You obviously possess an incredible intellect.
When did you first establish your base in Antarctica?
After my mass ritual sacrifice of the Jews and Christians in the concentration camps in Europe, and the atomic bombing of one of the only Christian cathedrals in Japan, I moved what forces I had remaining in Germany, or as I like to call it by its proper Roman name, Germania Superior, to Neuschwanstein, or as you've so cleverly surmised, Antarctica.
So Admiral Byrd really did get his ass kicked by the Nazis with their unidentified flying aircraft that he described in Antarctica when he led 4,700 men, 13 ships, and 33 aircraft on Operation High Jump at the close of the Second World War. That means you also established NASA with Werner von Braun in Germany during Operation Paperclip. It's starting to all make sense. You've masterfully taken the money and technology from what I guess is the fake NASA space program and used it to build your fake invading alien army in Antarctica. But if aliens aren't real, what else could you be using for your alien invasion other than fallen angels pretending to be aliens?
Remarkable.
Of course, Lamb from the teachings of Aleister Crowley, the fallen angel that he used as a medium. He looked like a gray alien with big dark eyes and grayish skin.
What do you know about my beast, Aleister Crowley?
I know that he and his wife traveled to Egypt, and his wife was contacted by a spirit named Lamb, who dictated Aleister Crowley's book, the Book of the Law, and that Lamb looked exactly like a gray alien. And that's how you're going to deceive mankind in the end times. An alien invasion of your fallen angels ready to be unleashed from the abyss of Antarctica. No wonder no one is allowed to explore, develop, and extract the immense natural resources from Antarctica. It's off limits under the authority of the UN. Oh my God, it's right there for everyone to see. I can't believe I didn't see it before. The UN flag is actually the flat Earth map. I'm dumbfounded.
Your knowledge of the occult, history, geography, and religion is fascinating, Jonathan. I haven't conversed with a human of your intelligence in quite some time. You ask very specific questions, as if you are mining for information. I'm answering your questions in order for you to make an informed decision, but please do not mistake my cooperation as ignorance.
What are you saying?
My modus operandi is based on secrecy. That's why my disciples also do everything in secret. They worship me in secret, pay homage to me in secret, perform rituals for me in secret, sacrifice their children to me in secret, all under a veil of secrecy. No, I'm sorry, Jonathan. You ask too many questions. You know too much. You think too much. Thinkers worry me. That's why I like to keep all of my sheeple busy working, busy as bees, to keep them from thinking of me or what I might be plotting.
I'm just one man. What could I possibly do to you?
What could you do? Just one man. Esau killed my beloved King Nimrod. David killed my giant Goliath. Christ created Christianity. King James printed his bloody Bible. Kennedy exposed my secret societies. What could one man do? Well, I'm not sure what you could do, but I'm not willing to leave it to chance. You either bow down to me right now and swear to sacrifice your son to me, or there will be hell to pay.
I thought there was no hell.
Do not anger me. Remember who you're dealing with. Son, don't anger our master. He can destroy our whole family.
Shut up, old man. I've got you figured out. You're a demon or a fallen angel that's trying to deceive me. In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to leave.
No, stop. Do not say his name. You've been deceiving me. You have no desire in claiming your inheritance. You're here under the direction of Adonai. Seize him.
Your face. What's happening to you? You're disgusting. You're turning into the devil.
You've angered me, mortal.
Unhand me. I have this entire interview recorded.
Destroy any recording device that he possesses.
No, not a tape recorder. A transmitter embedded in my skin. I've already leaked this meeting to a server in my car that has automatically sent an audio recording of this entire meeting to every movie producer in the business.
You fool. Don't you know that Hollywood is my playground? My witches perform their hexes in the center of hexagrams with their wands made from the Hollywood tree. Hollywood is built on unholy ground that humans Sacrifices were performed on, and in my city of lost angels, every actor, director, and producer works for me. Nothing gets produced and distributed without my permission.
What about a movie producer that's also a Seventh-day Adventist, who hasn't been blinded by your brilliance or baffled by your bullshit?
This is your last chance to surrender to me, or else.
Or else what? I don't fear you, or what you can do to me or my family. You have no power over me. Me and my family are blood-brought children of God, given the gift of eternal life for believing in His only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. And if I'm to perish here tonight, that will be because my Father has allowed it to be so, because He's the one and only true master of the universe. And if God, with His infinite wisdom, wants me to become a martyr, to further His establishment of His kingdom in the earth, as it is in heaven, then let it be so. And if He wants me to survive this meeting and continue on fighting you and your society another day, then He will make it so. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for Thou art with me. Thy rod and Thy staff, they comfort me. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Yeah, Jim, I've heard enough of this scum of the earth.
What shall we do with him, Master?
Crucify him, then skin him alive, and of course, burn him to death.
Master, we've found a transmitter in him, as he said, embedded in his skin.
What can one man